Hello and welcome back to Carragher Studios Remnant Lunar Archon session 47. Doing good here. Hope you're doing good. Having a good time. You look great today. Are those new shoes? They look good. Yeah, welcome back to the game. So now that everyone's been here, I can actually let Sam do the recap, which means I need to roll for it. I think it was Chris last time, unless I'm misremembering. Is that right?
It was either last time or the time before last, but one of the last two times was me. Yes.
Cool. Well, regardless, the dice said, "Hey Sam, you want to give the recap?"
Boy, I don't remember all the details from last time.
Give it your best shot. We'll help fill in details.
Last time, before. Well, do you want me to fill in before or after I joined?
Before everything from the previous session, if you can remember.
Okay, so the party arrived at Delta, and went into the inn there, the Forks, I think it was called.
Yes.
And we're talking about some past stuff. Somebody came up and talked to them about something that I don't remember the details of. John came up to the table, introduced himself, asked to be part of the party. Doug was the only one immediately cool with it. Then we all went into a back room, learned about another thing that I don't remember all the details of.
We'll fill those in. Continue.
We slept for the night, and Doug and John roomed together, and everybody else roomed in another room. And then we all decided to go up to can't remember the name of the town. The one just north of us.
All right, party members, help him out with the missing details.
Did we actually travel, or were we just deciding which route we were going to travel by?
Y'all decided, though y'all can change your minds, that you were going to stay until Tuesday, which it now is. Y'all stayed an extra day, Monday. I don't remember what y'all did, but I know y'all did stuff, hung out. Oh, right, there was fishing, and there was darts, or not darts, but card games, dice, hanging out in town for a day, getting...
failed rock searches.
Failed attempts to find cool rocks, successful attempts to find metal under the water, and then Monday, on Tuesday, the 9th of May, year 417, post-schism, at roughly 9 a.m., the party was going to leave with the merchants who are making their way out in the direction of Vane on the road. Y'all wanted to ride with them as opposed to heading along the river or trying to get some kind of ferry or purchase a boat. On account of the fact that moving upriver is more difficult, it would likely have required an animal to pull alongside, because that is a thing that is done often, to pull up rivers, is have an animal with a rope or multiple animals to pull up along the edge of the water to keep a boat going. Y'all, there is one thing that is technically wrong, that the party didn't arrive in Delta at the start of last session. They had finished up with Asaka Yori and her family. They had helped save her little sister Enri. And then they returned to the inn, where they asked her a bunch of questions about nightmares, the specific kind of grim. They asked her about her past and her possession, as she is technically possessed by a grim that has seemingly grown some sort of sentience since it possessed her, as most grim don't have any sense of personality, but this one has gained one over the time it's been with her. You'll learn that she's basically on a war path to get rid of this thing by any means necessary, and has failed at every turn for the last several years. She has a master who is a wizard up in Vacuo.
Your name is?
You know his name is Simeon. You don't know that much more about him, but you know his name is Simeon, and he's in Vacuo. And so that's where she was heading back to. And so she had gone early Monday morning up the river. The thing that she'd taught y'all the previous night was a ritual that requires 100 gold worth of different materials, including a very fancy dream catcher, which can be used to enter into a person who is being possessed by a nightmare, to enter into their dreams and kill the creature in there, bringing it out so you can capture it. As they're incredibly difficult to kill, she said, and so apparently her and Simeon usually encase it in rock, and she said bury it somewhere. Preferably under 6 feet under a grave, because no one's going to dig up a grave, let alone 6 feet under it. So it's basically a way just to lock the Grim away for a long time. Yeah, and so we finished off as y'all were ending. I will double check. Is there anything any of y'all want to do in town before you leave? Turn the music back to regular D&D music and not lo-fi. I'll do that. Thanks for letting me know.
They don't have any kind of herbologist or some sort of apothecary, someone that might be able to sell us some potions, some healing potions.
From what you understand, not that would carry healing potions. They have a general store, and there is a lady in town, an older, probably 53, 54, older human lady, who is a practicing herbologist and is basically the medicine woman of the town. But she doesn't have any magical skills. She's just a fairly scientific herbal woman that takes care of the town's needs as necessary. If you break a leg, she can put a splint on it. You can stitch up a wound if need be. That's what she's got for you. No potions, though. Alright, as y'all make your way, we're going to need a couple of sets of things. Let's go ahead and do 4 of them. I need 4 people to roll d20s, and I need Thicket to give 4 survival checks as he helps lead the caravan. They're not going to be terribly hard on account of the fact that you're following a trail that, for the most part, is consistent. Occasionally, there are patches where it kind of jumps 100 feet of where it's not as easy to follow, but then you get back onto it, and there's a chance you could get lost.
Does anyone want to help Thicket with survival checks?
Does Gambit have proficiency in survival?
He does not, but he would like to. It would like to help. Does he
He'd
have
like
to
to give it his best shot.
He would like
for
to
a
give
long-term thing like this, you'd have to have a level of proficiency to be in a use here.
Okay.
All right, Vam.
So you said 3 or 4 of them?
4. I also need 1 more person to roll a d20. So,
Ron can assist. Ron has proficiency.
Does he?
Oh, wait, that was stealth. Sorry, not survival.
Garand does. So Garand can help out on the front of the carts.
Woo!
So
Let's go.
Do I make them with advantage now?
You would make them with advantage, yes.
Okay.
Let's go. Oh my goodness. We dropping 20s.
Do I get a... Well, never mind. I was going to say, do I get a hero point for that? But I'm at max hero points.
Yeah, you're maxed. By the way, if anyone doesn't or has an opening, go ahead and give yourself a hero point for the start of the session.
Why didn't that do advantage? Oh my god.
I don't know.
Okay.
You know clicky?
And then
roll a couple of things.
Okay, that should be... Wait, that's 3 with advantage.
Wow, y'all are having good weather. It does rain on the 3rd day, which slows you down a little bit, but with Thicket's extremely expert, high-quality leading, you're actually able to find parts where the road's not as muddy. And you have an easy time up to day 4. So then at the end of 1st, 2nd, 3rd, the 4th day, you're up here. You come to a crossroads. The merchants want to take a left. What do y'all want to do?
Why?
Yeah, why did they want to go left?
Take a look at the map.
Oh, the map. I
How do
know
we
Here,
how
I'll
look
to
at the
show
find
map?
it.
Well, you can find it in the images tab
Characters.
under campaign, but I can also just throw it at you like I did.
Ah, you hit me right in the face.
When I could
Oh,
just
yeah,
share
we
it to
do
all
wanna
of
go
you.
to
couldn't
left.
see.
So
they
Do
want
we
to go
wanna go
left.
Vane?
yeah, because
Yeah.
we're going to Vane.
North,
Mhm.
north left. You want to go north
Yep.
left?
North left.
Mhm.
Okay. I also need. They're checking. I need information. So, while you're traveling with this group of merchants, what is the what different parts of the group how are you arranging yourselves with the 3 carts?
Gambit's gonna be on the backmost cart, hanging his feet off, with his hat down and a piece of grass out of his mouth like a cowboy.
I guess Thicket will be kind of front because he's navigating.
Okay. So you
Right.
and Garand will probably be up toward the front, helping take care of the navigation.
I think John will be in the middle one, just keeping an eye out.
All right.
And then suddenly something comes jumping out of the bushes.
Where should Claude and Maverick go? They hang out with Gambit back toward the back.
Yeah, it sounds fine. And Doug would probably be with.
John in the middle then.
Yeah, because he's
Alright.
the one that's kind of like keep an eye on him or whatever.
Mhm.
Cool. That puts a good setup there. Alright, I just wanted to know ahead of time. Let's see. Is this so? It rained on the 3rd day. So that was the first day. Went from there. Second, third. First, second, third. End of first, end of second, end of third, end of fourth was there. So y'all do camp at the crossroads. Though, something does happen on the 4th day. As we are.
Heroes.
That was third.
He was already up.
I know. I know.
He's hanging out.
Showed himself to Thomas.
He was having a good time. Whatever he was doing. Let's see. So, as the... I've got all my stuff here. Roughly 2 p.m., middle of the afternoon, as you're making your way through the... At this point, it would be a fairly open field. There are bits of light wood where you go through, but there's a significant portion that are fairly light fields, sparse trees, beautiful grass areas. You even pass a few meadows, but there are elements of forest. Currently, as you go through a meadow, I have to pull up a thing. Make sure I've got
Doug is
this
back.
right. Doug is back.
Doug, we've been traveling for 4 days, and everything's been going generally pretty well, except for now something's about to happen while we're in a meadow.
I also
Okay.
need to know, Doug, what area of the caravan are you in? There are 3 merchants, or rather, there are 3 carts. For the most part, the merchants prefer to ride in or around the carts, whether y'all are sitting on boxes or otherwise, as they are. They roughly have 10-foot beds that are like 7-8 feet wide, pulled by 2 mules apiece. There are a total of 8 people of the various merchants working. Which area of the caravan are you in? So far, we've got Garand and Thicket up front helping navigate, which as well has Jackie up there hanging out too. John is in middle area, and Gambit is in the back. Maverick and Claude will go wherever.
If Thicket and them were guiding in the front, I think I would be in the back.
All right, so you're going to be in the back. Maverick will hang out with John then. John, I think Claude is... Claude is probably going to hang out near Maverick. John, they are... Through a significant period of the time, Claude and Maverick are talking about the finer details of automaton construction at a level that, even with the amount of schooling you've had, means next to nothing to you. Yeah, with your skill set, it's 90% of it's going over your head. Yeah, you're not
But it's
proficient in
interesting.
Arcana. Yeah, you listen attentively. Occasionally they ask you if something would be cool, such as wrist rockets. But beyond that, a lot of it's a bit beyond.
I make things out of metal, not silicone.
Let's see. And as you are all writing, let me double check. I keep closing the thing and I need to see who's where. Okay, so the middle section that has Maverick and John, you don't notice anything. In the back, something happens in front of 3 people simultaneously. These 3 people are Thicket, Doug, and Garand. So the front cart knows, back cart knows, middle cart doesn't even see this happen. As you are riding, there is a moment where each of you smell sulfur and ozone, like there's lightning about to crack. But then, in front of you, there is a burst of flame, roughly eye level, a couple of feet in front of you. And as the flame quickly bursts and then dissipates, where there was nothing previously, what you would be able to notice pretty instantly is a letter appears in the air and begins to float down.
A letter?
A letter.
A letter.
Like
It doesn't all
an
happen.
envelope?
An envelope.
Okay.
An envelope with gold lettering or gold edging.
Is it from Ether? Or Aether?
And that's up for you to decide who you think it's from.
Thicket
Gambit's
pokes
gonna
it with
look
his
around.
staff.
It is falling to the ground, so as you poke it, it moves in front of you, slightly faster down, Doug and Garand. It specifically appears in front of Doug, Garand, and then Thicket, but y'all wouldn't necessarily notice the speed at which it does, given that they happen within milliseconds of each other.
Alright. So there's like multiple letters, or there's
Yep.
just one?
One in front of each of them.
I look at them and I say, this might be a part 2. We might have something new to go do. And he'll reach for his, and I'll start opening it up.
All right,
Thicket
I'm going
waits to see if anything bad happens to Garand.
Doug, what are you doing back there?
I'm pretty sure Doug just went ahead and grabbed it before anybody said anything.
All right, are you opening yours as well?
I'm just gonna grab it and then just, I guess, look at the envelope.
All right. There is one now in each of your inventories. It is written as ornate letter. I am going to identify the one in Garand's inventory once you have it open, which should auto, everything should show up when I hit identify. If not, you may need to close it and then open it back up from your inventory. As you open the fine papered letter with golden edging, that you notice the edging of the envelope, that you would notice pretty immediately, has roses on it.
Does
In
it
gold.
have anything written on the outside?
Rosanna!
In the outside, it says to Thicket. And Garand's yours says to Garand Evanstar, and Doug says to Doug.
Sus.
It's Rosanna!
As Garand reads over his.
What does it say?
He holds up a finger like he's intently reading.
He's like, go.
Gambit's
Doug, oh, right.
doing
Doug
little
opened his
hops.
as well. I will go ahead and identify yours as well, Doug. Where are you? Ornate letter. There you are.
You've
Identify
been
this.
invited to celebrate a solstice party. It's relating to a previously completed quest. So that's interesting. Now,
Thicket opens his.
well,
Quest.
Oh,
so
are you going up to the front area, Gambit, or are you sitting back there with
Oh,
Doug
I
as Doug
guess,
reads through his?
Yeah. Would Gambit have noticed? I think you specified that he would have noticed.
He would definitely have noticed a burst of flame in the
Okay.
air and the
Yeah,
appearance of a
he
letter.
would have gone. He would have gone up.
Well, you saw it in front of Doug next to you as well.
Oh.
So whether you, I don't know if you and Doug are going up
Okay.
front. That you wouldn't necessarily
Yeah,
have
no.
noticed. Two carts forward, but Doug's you would have noticed.
Okay. What does it say, Doug? What does it say?
Thicket opens his.
That's a great question.
You can find it on your sheet. It should now say invitation to
Well,
a place.
I'm still driving at the moment.
Oh, well, in that case, I guess I'll have to wait for one of the others to tell you.
I can
Thicket,
read
do
it
you
out
see yours?
loud.
Sure, Thicket can read it out loud, and Thicket and Doug are reading it at the same time.
To the messengers from the Hain Institute, Department of Transmutation, to whom it may concern, the party of adventurers. Whoa, oops, scrolling. The party of adventurers known as the Messengers is hereby invited to the Hain Institute Solstice Celebration by the Hain Institute Department of Transmutation on behalf of archaeologist Sylvia Lopez.
Arcanologist, to be specific, but yes.
Oh,
Continue.
sorry.
It looks
was
like archaeologist, too. It's easy to skip over the two letters.
I thought she was an archaeologist.
She's an arcanologist.
I also
Basically,
thought she was an
archaeologist.
archaeologist.
He's an archaeologist for magic stuff, basically.
The celebration
was-
will take place on the 21st of June, 417 post-schism, beginning at 5 o'clock in the evening. The event will be held in the Anastasia Ballroom within the Eastern Wing. Attendees are expected to be well-dressed and weapons checked at the door. Respectfully, Professor how do you say that?
Good question. Y'all are reading it in a letter. You don't know.
Well, Thicket's not actually reading it out loud.
Oh.
Garand,
It's
how do I
spelled
say this?
Dianan is how it's spelled.
Dianan. It looks like Dianan to me. Dianan
Okay.
Under Fury.
Respectfully, Professor Diana Under Fury of the Department of Transmutation. P.S. Hey, this is Sylvia now. I hope you guys can come. We'll be putting our findings from the Battle of Red Orchid on display.
Right. So I don't really know where this institute is. Does anyone know? I'll start asking around the merchants and if anybody knows
yeah,
of it,
that's
or
the-
if you want to
that's-
give me a skill check or something.
Make a history check, because you might actually just know this.
Okay.
In particular, oh wait, y'all aren't gonna mention it, or at least John hasn't heard about it yet, because he doesn't know y'all are opening this, because he would know where it is.
Doesn't Thicket might know because of isn't that this where Asuka's trains?
Asuka has mentioned that she has friends at the school.
Has she mentioned where it is?
She did mention that if you want to find her, go to the Hain Institute in Vacuo. And Garand, you would know that it's in Vacuo. You would have heard it before. It's heralded as the largest and most prestigious mage school in the country. As the majority of mages go to individual teachers who will take on a couple of apprentices, or just a single apprentice. But as far as like mage schooling goes, it's basically Vacuo or Coquinia. Oh, there's also one, a small one in Coral. Yeah, there's a small one in Coquinia and in Coral, but there is an actual, like, full-on college in Vacuo. Called the Hain Institute.
What day is it now?
It is currently the 12th of May.
Cool.
I will go ahead and mark the 21st of June on the calendar for y'all, which I believe y'all can open in the tools section in the top right. You can open the calendar. Day, the Hain Institute. Solstice. Celebration will be held. So, what does Doug say to Gambit as Doug reads the letter and Gambit is asking?
And this was about Sylvia's request?
Yeah, it seems to be a letter on behalf of Sylvia from the Department of Transmutation inviting y'all to a celebration.
I guess Doug's response is like, Sylvia, she's the one with the owl, right?
She is.
Oh, yeah.
Did that go through? Sorry.
No, it did not.
I guess
What was that?
Doug
Sorry,
was
I'm
just,
sorry. I just want real quick. Did that go through to you, Matt or Micah?
I did not. Oh, did you send me a message or something?
No, never mind. Just trying to check something.
Okay.
Sorry, I apologize.
Was Doug gonna say something?
Yeah, Doug was just going to mention, Sylvia.
You cut out? What was that? Sylvia.
Guess we'll never know.
I guess not. And y'all two up in the front. How are y'all reacting? Durand and Thicket.
Do we have character art of Sylvia? I want a refresher.
Yes, I will send it. Yes, Chris, you can roll Arcana check on the letter coming in. You do not recognize it. All right, where is Sylvia's art?
I'll since I'm up near Thicket, I'll kind of lean over towards him. You know, sulfur is typically a smell from the lower planes. I couldn't get a read on what exactly sort of spell that was, but there is a small chance that this is a trap. So just be aware, I suppose.
Did we see Sylvia write anything while we were with her?
She definitely wrote many notes in her notebook, yes.
I want to see if at least her part of the letter looks like her handwriting.
Make an intelligence check, I suppose.
Can it be inside?
Sure. It can be an intelligence-based insight check. Hey, then at least you have proficiency. Oh. That's weird. Need to fix the reactives. Well, it's slowly fixing itself. That was weird. Must have been a... That was a weird split there. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Reactors are back. I don't need to fix that. So, I mean, it looks similar, but it's writing. Hard to tell. It's fairly well written. It's a fancy cursive version of Common, effectively.
Goran, does this look like Sylvia's handwriting?
Chris is grabbing his phone charger. It also looks like Jaislyn is taking a be right back.
I'm back.
Oh no, just got back. Okay, that was it. So, Chris will get back soon, and hopefully... There's Jack. Are you good, Jack?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Are you back? Can you hear
Yeah.
us?
Yeah.
Cool. You were saying something to Gambit, and then you got cut off.
Yeah, I was saying something about, Sylvia's the one with the owl, and, I think we should go check it out.
If I remember
Sounds good to
correctly,
me.
I don't know that Gambit was there.
Gambit was not there. In fact,
Yeah.
that was the one that I fell asleep to. When before I knew that I was going to be in the campaign and watched it. I turned it on
Okay.
and then fell asleep.
Nice.
But I do remember what I thought was an arcanologist. Sylvie.
Sylvia. Yes. She is a wood elf. She is
Thicket
an
wants
arcane
to...
archaeologist or an arcanologist, depending on who you ask. Both answers are technically correct. As an owl, she's spunky.
Thicket wants to compare the letters between his and Goran's and see if they're the same.
They're not identical. Everything is written similarly, and the handwriting looks to be the same. But there is a slightly messed up A in the one Goran has compared to the one you have.
The same words.
Same words. Very similar handwriting. It just looks like they might have messed up on one of the letters and tried to fix it and keep going.
Interesting.
Alright, is there anything y'all would like to do or discuss? John is hanging out with Maverick in the middle. None of them know what the thing is. Or that y'all even received a letter.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was also thinking about, what if you had, these boots that would, shoot magic fire out of them and let you fly?
Dude.
Yeah? I think I'm working on it. I think I'm going to work on that. If I can get it to work.
You could call yourself, Tin Man.
Yeah, maybe. So, I mean, it's more so as he taps on Claude's wooden body. More so for him than me. Yeah, I'd like to actually... I think being more useful in a fight would be wonderful. Love to help out. So far, I can just give my immense wit and wonderful knowledge. Alright, is there anything y'all are going to do on that day, Friday the 12th?
Is Chris back?
Is Chris back? Oh, apparently not.
Is Crisp Rat?
Is Chris Pratt? I don't think he is. But I guess, it's a good as time as any. It's 9:55. We'll go ahead and take our 10-minute break here. Give time for Chris to get back. Everyone to hang out. I know it's been relatively short because we had to start late. But we might as well do it now and then keep playing until probably 10:30ish. That way people who need to get up in the morning for work or otherwise can. Is that good with y'all?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Means we'll go ahead and do that. Oop, I've changed the thing up to be right back screen. Hello, hope y'all are having a fun time hanging out. I'm having a good time. I've been waiting on this letter for real life, like 2 months. Started planning that out the moment y'all left Sylvia. Ah, sounds like I'm alone.
You're not.
Oh,
I'm
cool.
about to leave to get some food.
Oh, that's fair. I guess I will be alone. That's still a thing. That's not a thing. Where did I write its name? I really thought I wrote down Sylvia's owl's name. Was it Bernardo? I think it was Bernardo. Not seeing it. I did. I wrote it down. His name is Bernardo. Bernardo the owl. Happy guy hanging out.
I guess the good news is that Sylvia's satisfied with her findings and whatnot. So I guess at the very least, we have to go investigate.
That's true, but also we have we would decide to go on a 5-minute or 10-minute break. Since,
my bad.
Yeah, I thought you and Jocelyn were both gone, so we're pausing for a couple of minutes. So hi.
Oh, totally fine. Totally fine.
Hey.
My bad. I did not know. I'm sorry.
You're good.
It's been a really good day for me for some shinies.
Ooh, fun.
So last night when I went on my walk, on my way back, I got a shiny Kricketot, which I don't really like Kricketot, but Kricketune has one of my all-time favorite Pokemon sounds. So I immediately evolved it, and every once in a while I'll just click on it to listen to it because it's delightful to me. And then this afternoon, lunchtime, when I was walking Zoe to her preschool thing, I got a shiny Boy Frillish, so that was good. And then when I was out doing raid hour tonight, I got a shiny Ghastly, my third shiny Ghastly, and I've been playing since like 2018, hadn't gotten any shiny Ghastlies or anything, but then in the last like month I've gotten 3, so that's fun.
Nice.
But then also I played Scarlet today, and I got 2 shiny Fanpeas. I got a random that was from an outbreak, and I got a random shiny Cubchoo just happened on. I got a random shiny Orthworm that I happened on, and I feel like there's one more. Like I feel like I got 5. It's been a day.
It sounds like
really
some streamer luck. Like that's some good. That's a lot of shiny.
Well, maybe it's because we're streaming now, right? Because we're doing the Pokemon thing.
We have started doing that, even though we've yet to see a shiny in the actual game so far. Eventually, we will. That's
Are they boosted odds at all?
No,
Are they
I
boosted
don't
odds?
think they are. I think it's.
Oh.
I think it's 2K or 5. It's either 2K or 5K. Let's see, because anyone who's watching here and doesn't know, me and Chris stream Pokemon Radical Red, a hack, and we do a Soul Link on Monday nights. And the VODs get up to YouTube, so. Let's see, Radical Red, shiny odds. Yeah, it's a 1 in 4,996.
Yeah, so full odds. Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, when you are using the Dex nav, it increases that. I don't know what value, but it does increase your odds. Dex nav.
Okay.
So
Okay, well.
we might see one at some point. I mean, the odds are not in our favor, but you know how it goes.
Yeah.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
May the odds be ever in your flavor. May the olives be ever flavorful. Except I'm not the biggest fan of olives. They're good to flavor stuff with, but I don't want to be able to tell the texture. Like, mincing them and putting them in like bean dip and stuff works very well.
I like their
same-
texture when they're oil.
That's fair. Olive oil is pretty good. Very healthy. I'm also what's it called? I literally looked it up last time we did a thing, if I remember correctly. Rendered fat. It works very well for cooking.
Tallow? Yeah.
Yeah, tallow. That's what it's
Tallow,
called.
lard.
Tallow, lard. I can't remember what margarine is.
Margarine is just hydrogenated
Oh,
vegetable oil.
oh, that's. Huh.
I think.
I don't know. I know.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Crisco.
Crisco is vegetable oil. I know that much. It's
I don't know what
Why
margarine
can't-
is then.
shortening. That's what Crisco is.
Yeah.
Oil. That's definitely vegetable oil. I don't know, but tallow works very well. Whenever we do parties or stuff where we have to do a lot of bacon or sausage or burgers, I try to save the unrendered fat and then render it myself later. Because, for example, bacon fat, throw a little bit of that in your like pot of green beans, and it
That's
kicks
amazing.
it through the roof, man. Good stuff. It works very well. You can even you can use it to not butter but like grease buns for toasting. Dude.
You
It's
get
great.
bacon for free. Bacon flavor for free, man.
I know, right? It's so easy.
Do you know you can use tallow to make soap?
Yes.
I don't know how, but I did know it was a thing.
It's a chemical reaction mixing the tallow with lye
Mhm.
makes soap.
Interesting. I guess that's how it gets the weird mixture of like being able to pull oils off and then get washed away by water.
Oil attracts oil. Or fat attracts oil.
Yeah,
it
and lye
is organ oil.
attracts.
I think lye is a surfactant.
I think so. Yeah, it looks like it.
It's called like non-polarization. That's oil. Something and then polar.
See, now the question is, how do you get lye? Like, how do you make it in case I ever have to live in the woods on my own?
I have
Make
no idea
my
how you
own
get
soap.
lye.
Ash.
Yeah.
It has to do with ash. I don't know too much more than that, but I know it has to do with ash.
So you have to boil ashes of a
obtained
hardwood
by
fire
fermentation.
in soft rainwater. And then you allow the ashes to settle at the bottom, and the lye will float to the top, and you can scrape it off the top.
Nice.
Or skim the liquid lye off the top, while the ashes settle to the bottom. Interesting.
So boil some ash, kill a hog, and you've got yourself some soap.
Yeah.
I wonder how many, like,
Years it took to figure that
years,
out.
yeah, and like how different cultures came to the same.
You know what's interesting? They could have figured it out thousands of years ago, but nobody knew it would be important until the last couple hundred years.
That's true, because they didn't know the necessarily
Yeah.
being able
They
to
didn't
use
know
it
anything about
properly.
germs or necessarily. I mean, they knew cleanliness, but not in the way that we know it.
Yeah. And even
Like if
then,
it looks
like,
clean to them, like
most of the time,
Yeah.
clean was synonymous with smells nice, and so oils would be used more often for cleaning than
that is
soap or-
actually why the doctors during the Black Death, had those long beaks because they had nice smelling things in there. So they thought that, and they thought that the bad smell that rotting corpses would give off was how the disease spread.
And they
So
also
they had
thought
nice
it was
smelling
ghosts.
things in the beak, and that would, quote unquote, keep them from getting infected.
Interesting. So that's why we have one of the most terrifying omen masks in existence now.
And also, isn't it that they thought it was demons too, so that they looked kind of like a demon, so they wouldn't get possessed themselves?
In
I
certain
haven't
parts
I've
of the
heard
world.
something like that.
But it doesn't sound far off base given how religious the whole world was back then.
It's true.
And superstitious.
Because that was pre disestablishmentarianism, wasn't it?
Pre-germs.
I mean,
Germs
for the
were only
religious
a
side of
thing.
things. That
Weren't even a thing until like the 1600s. So.
It was pre-Louis Pasteur.
Did you know that other countries have shelf-stable milk?
Yeah.
Because other countries ultra-pasteurize their milk, basically killing all of the bacteria in it, which makes it shelf-stable.
But once you open it, doesn't that go away?
Well, once you open anything shelf-stable, it goes away because bacteria gets in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They
That'd
sell
actually be-
shelf-stable
we don't
coffee
have-
creamer at my local Publix.
They do?
Yeah.
Well, actually, most of the shelf-stable coffee creamer doesn't actually have milk in it.
Yeah, because I guess you can make coffee creamer with, like, what's the word?
It's like not the powder kind though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no,
also
I have
powdered
Aisle
milk.
3.
Boom,
I have
got
some of
it.
the same like shelf-stable stuff. It doesn't go bad, like milk, like cream-based creamer would.
Okay, so note to self: get some blah 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 blah. Get some shelf-stable milk or milk mix, because I know that's a thing that, though it doesn't taste as good, can stand in a pinch.
True.
So I can make post-apocalyptic macaroni and cheese.
Yeah.
That's
no,
my
it's
mind
weird
was-
that the U.S. doesn't make shelf-stable milk.
Well,
Yeah.
there's two reasons why I can imagine that would be the case. One is that we have an absurd amount of milk, even now. Like, I'm sure you've seen something about the cheese vaults and the cheese caves before. And so we really don't need the extra milk with our current milk output. We can more than stock the shelves currently. Plus, if it's an extra step the company has to go through, unless it needs it for marketability, it probably won't. Which, to be fair, this isn't like a health concern
It's
thing, but
actually
like
not
not
an
enough
extra step.
people.
It's just a higher temperature on the pasteurization step.
No, maybe not then. I don't know.
Yeah, but then they hope that it goes bad so that you will
Buy
buy
more. That's fair.
Well, it's not like people are keeping this for years on end.
Yeah, you don't really need it shelf stable.
You don't need
Most
to
houses-
stockpile milk in most cases.
Most households, not all of them, but a significant portion of them don't ever have their milk go bad because they drink it fast enough.
Yeah.
As long as you're buying the right amount, like, I can easily clear a half gallon of milk over the course of a week and a half before it goes bad on my own.
Yeah.
For a lot of places, you don't need to worry about that necessarily. I mean,
We
some,
have
I'm
milk
sure.
go bad all the time in my house.
Isn't that just because y'all don't like milk then?
I do, but I like purposely avoid drinking it so that we have some for our baby nephew.
No.
I honestly don't drink milk.
And so then
Okay.
like but he only comes to visit like once a week, and like milk only lasts like 2 weeks or so. And so
Yeah.
like he doesn't drink a whole gallon. He barely drinks half a cup. And
So in that
we
case, the thing that you need to
we-
learn here is that you could just drink the milk, just leave a little bit at the bottom if it's time. If you think he's
Yeah.
coming over.
So we've like progressively bought smaller and smaller sizes of milk every time we've gone shopping, and it's still a problem.
And for the internet, for anyone that doesn't know, yes, the country does technically have, well, we call them cheese caves. They're warehouses. Where in order to help with the milk industry, because part of the milk industry was also the beef industry, which is actually very, very necessary in a lot of ways, at least at the current point, because it also ties into the milk industry in a lot of ways, and because the milk industry has an absurd amount of lobbying in the U.S. government, the U.S. buys up a crazy amount of milk to help subsidize the milk industry. Which, as a result, means we have crazy amounts of milk that we have no idea what to do with. And the way that you keep milk stable for a long time without having to ultra pasteurize necessarily is to turn it into cheese. And that's what we've been doing for thousands of years. And so they turn it into cheese, and then the cheese gets stored. And so there are warehouses that are just full of cheese.
Nice.
You know, it's interesting and actually sort of goes against what you would think would happen. They actually introduced bacteria to make cheese.
Yep.
Yeah, because they need certain types of bacteria to make certain types of cheeses, don't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get the right flavors coming into that Munster.
It's aged.
Counterintuitive
it's like
is the word I'm
wine.
looking for, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
wine is different though, because wine is more or less sterile.
Yes and
just
no. It is
changes on its
now.
own with the yeast.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is
yeah,
yeast
well,
is a form of
it's-
bacteria that's needed for alcohol production, and so it's a
Yep.
similar type of thing. Like, that's also something I'm
Mhm.
curious about. Is how do they figure out how to make? Like, what did they figure out? Because I don't know if they called it yeast necessarily.
Aging or
I
rotting.
mean, there was
like you're
well, there was
making
also,
it go bad, but in a controlled.
but also like they knew what leavening was for bread.
Yes.
And I don't know how they figured out what they necessarily used to leaven bread at the time,
What was
whether or not
yeast?
they just like always had a sourdough starter going all the time that they would just take a little bit and put
Yeah.
into
Well, it was
stuff
yeast,
to make
and
alcohol.
yeast was expensive, so you would always save a lump from
Previous bread and just
the previous
sourdough
bread.
away. Yeah, and I guess they would probably just take that because it seems like it'd be the most reliable way to get yeast, and just take that and put it in their barrels for alcohol production, and just let it go and
actually,
then pull out
you don't
the
even need
solids.
yeast for wine.
Interesting.
Grapes will ferment on actually, fruit by itself will ferment on its own. So literally, they probably discovered it just by forgetting about a keg of grape juice for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's actually an instance in the Bible early on where that happened. I don't remember what it was, but I feel like that was a thing.
I don't think that was specifically a thing.
I don't know. I could be wrong. But, I mean, it was a part of life at that point, especially because they didn't have pure water, or at least clean water all the time, and they didn't know how to clean it as well. And so everyone had to drink alcohol, at least in small amounts, usually more watered down than what we have today, even.
Well, yeah. It wasn't as high of a percentage back then.
Yeah, super low percentage, but it was enough to where it would keep the water clean enough and sanitized enough that they could actually be hydrated without becoming dehydrated from the alcohol or from getting sick from stuff in the water. Of course, they still, I think, knew how to make concentrated alcohol, though, because people had the capability to get drunk.
Yeah,
and if you had super low amounts, you'd have to drink gallons and gallons of super low stuff to get drunk. I can't imagine that was the case.
Well,
as
it doesn't take
fascinating
long
as this is, I would like to play D&D.
I would as well. I was kind of hoping Jack would come back. I don't know
Yeah,
when
where
he's
is Jack?
going to. He BRB'd. Let me check the chat. Oh, Jaislyn cut out as well. I guess we'll give her a few seconds to come back. Jaislyn, can you hear us?
Honestly, I felt
can.
like we were betraying
Uh.
Cedar for talking about all this milk without her presence.
Fair point. Also, I need another one, two. Let's go with. Yeah, let's go 4 more. Go in sets of 4. I need 4 more d20 rolls, 4 more advantage survival checks from Thicket, as well as 1. No, make it 2 perception checks without advantage.
And the 2
Okay.
times I've rolled today, just horrible.
Well, to be fair, this is for random encounters, so you actually want to roll poorly.
Okay, then I'm happy.
Yeah, random encounters trigger on high numbers for most of the ways it's determined.
Sorry, that was advantage.
You advantage the d20. Are you sure you want that roll?
Whoops.
Roll things on my side. Roll that. Okay, I need 4 survival checks and 1 perception check. You either... Ooh. I need a... I don't get a call for these very often. I need Garand and John to both give me driving checks.
Driving?
Driving checks. Particularly, it'll be wisdom, so wisdom and proficiency for both of you. Both of you have proficiency in land vehicles and are helping drive. As for the first 3 days on this side of the journey, it is raining quite hard. So in order to keep time with your plan, they will need your help to drive through the rain.
Oh boy.
Let's see. So, over the course of the 3 days, the first day is not too bad. You are able to get through. The second day, the heavy rain gets to the point where you actually have to stop for several hours, not managing to get the wheels to move through the mud, and you'll lose a day during the travel. 1, 3. Y'all are up to here, but 4 days have gone by. To be 13th, 14th, 15th. It is now the 16th, Tuesday. Thicket, I need 1 more perception check. You rolled a nat 1 on the previous one, but you do get 1 more because I said 2, so I'm going to stand by that. Oh, not enough. All right, I'm going to need 4 more random dice.
Do I make another survival check since we're out an extra day?
I don't. No, you wouldn't need to because y'all would stay in one place for a significant portion of that day. But if you want to make 4 more, or you can simplify it to 2 more survival checks, you can. But so far, you are rolling quite well and have had no issues keeping y'all going on the trail. Dang, your survival, you're just rocking those above 20s all the time. So even with the high winds that you get on a couple of these days, you have no issue managing to keep everything tied down, managing to keep y'all moving through, preferably like behind hills and stuff as much as you can to avoid the winds. And I need 2 more d20 rolls.
From anybody?
From anyone. $13 and a 4. All right. Y'all are so far having no issues. Y'all pass by the river. Everything is going fine. 2. All right. And I need the last 2 d20 rolls and survival checks for this trek, as y'all have had a rather peaceful ride through the countryside.
How many survival checks?
Just 2. And that will move us forward to 20th. Need to check the weather. Love D&D travel. Always a good time. Yeah, more wind, but no more rain for these last 2 days that you travel. Yeah.
Okay, so
y'all. Yes.
number 9.
Huh?
Shiny number 9.
Dude.
Sorry.
Just getting another one. Luck.
It's
So
a
much
Bellsprout.
luck. So on the 20th, as y'all have spent week and a half now coming from Delta to Vane, you have finally arrived. As you ride up toward the town, you see amongst a fairly open area, sets of hillsides, you do see one larger forest off to the side, and in the distance, as you look to the east, Thicket in particular, since you can see the best, would see that in the distance there is quite a bit off in the distance. There is basically the horizon becomes trees. As there is what seems to be a rather dense set of forest or something in the eastern direction, which you actually could have seen for a couple of days. You can guess pretty well on the map that it seems to be the bog, swampy part that seems to cut through part of Vacuo. As you approach Vane, it is a rather simple, kind of expected type of town. There is as you've learned to expect, a simple wall. Excuse me. A simple wall around the entire town. Seems to largely be made of wood. Sorry, throat. Largely made of wood. You can see some tall buildings. You see a large amount of this area. This song is way more stressful than it needs to be. Chillax. Go. It was going hard on the strings, and I was like, this isn't.
What's really happening in this forest?
Yeah, I was like, dang. What's really happening that I don't know about here?
Kind
It is
of
a
organ
fairly.
that was playing for a bit.
You like organs. The town is relatively large. It is a full-size town, so it's got at least a few thousand people in it. You can see some taller buildings. You see, in particular, two that peek over the wall. There is one fairly tall tower in the closer to the back, like from where you're viewing it, the center area of the city, but further back toward the back side from the entranceway that y'all get to. As it seems to be, there's one main entrance that's near the river along Vane. The edge of the town does touch the water of the stream, or the river nearby. The other tall building appears to be the steeple of some kind of church. As you know, there's been a church in most of the locations you've been to. Notably, Delta didn't have one, but a lot of places have at least some kind of church. That's all you would notice from the outside. You see the gate does have a single guard standing at this point, which y'all would arrive at roughly 5 p.m. You would arrive at 5 p.m. on Saturday, the 20th of May in the year 417. You now have just about a month and a week or so from now until the party at Vacuo.
We're originally coming to see the library, right?
That's
Yeah.
a question for your party members.
They had a super dramatic, like, a title. Like Grand Librarian or something.
Come again?
They had like a title. I forget their name. Like Grand Librarian.
Yeah, that sounds right. Something along that line.
So do we want to like immediately book it to the library, or are we gonna like sniff around?
What time of day is it?
It is 5 p.m.
Probably closed.
We could check to see where it is. And if it is open or not.
Guess we gotta get into Vane first.
Where are these merchants going?
To Vane, they're actually, like, assuming y'all keep riding with them, they are heading to the gate.
Do we know where they're going in Vane?
They want to trade in Vane for some markets and have some deliveries that they're making, in particular, some custom orders for someone, though they didn't divulge to you who. And then they've also specified that they want to go to Vacuo and then back to Sheer.
Nice.
Back to Sheer through, I believe, Tough, if I remember correctly, is what I
When are they
said last time.
leaving for Vacuo?
They were planning to leave the next week. Probably the next
Okay.
Sunday. The 28th.
I think we ought to stick with them when they leave.
Okay. But that would be before or after the party.
That's still before. We have a month and a week.
So assuming nothing happens to time, if y'all stay until the 28th, Sunday, that'll leave you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-ish days to get to Vacuo, which would get you there on the 10th of June, 10 days before the party.
Nice. Okay. Sounds good to me.
The merchants ride up and will begin to talk to the guard, who seems to be pretty relaxed. After a couple of minutes of talk, he signals to the guy standing up upon the wall, who pulls on the thing to open the fairly large wooden doors to the side. And assuming you'll allow them, the carts are going to go in.
Mm-hmm. After they get in, assuming they get in, Gambit's gonna be kind of like do like a little fist pump and be like, "Yes, I didn't have to talk to any government officials."
One of the merchants, as y'all come to the inn, reaches out toward Thicket with a hand, like a handshake.
Thicket accepts.
Thanks for the help. I know we didn't end up seeing anything too dangerous, but we appreciate your help on finding the way here. I mean, some of those days got pretty rough. In terms of weather, at least. I appreciate having y'all with us. It's always nice to have security. How long y'all plan on sticking in town?
Well, we were planning on sticking around and maybe hitching a ride again when you're on your way to Vacuo.
Yeah, sounds great. We'll be here up until we're planning on leaving the 28th. So, y'all are staying that long? We'll be happy to hang out with you. Y'all seem to do pretty well, and I guess it's a good luck charm. We weren't hit by a single thing on that path.
Do you guys usually come across problems?
At least one. At least a Grim or something here or there. Usually we have to hire a couple of guards. And he even pats on his side where he's got just hanging off to the side of the cart a crossbow. Not a great shot, but I help out when I can. But having an adventurer or guard there is comforting and also often necessary. Appreciate it. We got to get things unloaded, so y'all have a
Good
nice
luck
day.
on selling your wares.
Yeah, appreciate it. If we run out of things here, we might actually not have to go to Vacuo, but there's some stuff we'd like to sell. One of our guys, as he points over to the back cart, He's actually got some stuff for the solstice celebration that we're going to be trying to sell. Custom, like, seashell things, you know?
Awesome.
As y'all split off from them, they would have taken you off toward the northern side of town, where they ended up stopping at a fairly nice-looking inn.
Well, do y'all want to find a place to stay? I don't know how expensive that place will be.
Yeah, this place looks pretty expensive, and I'm not rolling in cash.
Hey, that might
Yep.
mean there's some rich people that can pay Goran for his music.
Oh, that's true. Grand,
I
what do
mean,
you
it's-
think?
I mean, it's worth looking into at the very least. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but we don't know if we don't ask. So that's my bet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Forge the way.
Go heading into the tavern. Or the inn, rather.
Yeah, unless anybody looks like they're like really hesitant about it for some other reason, then Gron will just strut on in with his usual peacock walk, and will approach the bartender, tavern keeper, whatever they might have there, and
Well, do any of
see
you
what's-
object? Does anyone point anything out? Alright, then
No.
as you go, you clock that the name is the Dancing Goose Inn.
Oh,
Um,
how cute. That's
I love it.
adorable.
It is.
Going in, it's a fairly nice place. They actually have tablecloths, which are relatively rare.
Ooh.
Fancy.
They do have a nice actual stage set up. There is a separate fireplace because most places tend to just have an opening between the fireplace and the rest of the room, and that kind of makes their stage. This has an actual raised platform. There is a bar with a fairly nice looking half orc in a vest and clean white shirt standing at the bar. There aren't very many people in the actual inn at this point. You see a couple of people have filtered in, choosing to sit down for what seems to be a early dinner, but it's fairly quiet.
All right. Well, yep. I'll approach the half orc, male or female.
It is a man.
Good evening, sir. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I am a bard of trade, and I would like to find out if I might work out an arrangement whereby I perform on that very illustrious stage for you and your patrons, with the idea that my friends and I might procure 2 rooms and a meal, and we work out some sort of deal that suits you.
He nods, which could make the deal for you. But I do need to get the owner of the establishment, if you don't mind. She's the one who makes all the final details on any kind of performances. But she does do them pretty often. I don't know what the full details are, though. Let me grab her for you.
Well, thank you
As
kindly,
he-
sir.
Yeah, as he steps up the stairs, and a couple minutes later, he comes back down. She'll be right down with you.
All right. I guess in the meantime, anyone want fancy a drink?
I do.
I'll take one.
Sure.
Then yeah. So anybody that of my group, not necessarily around for the whole bar, but anyone of my group that wants one, whatever they want, Garan will pay for a round.
Yeah, unless anyone's doing anything particularly fancy, that would only come out to probably 1 or 2 silver pieces. We'll say 2 for the size of your party.
Sure.
Thanks, Grand.
It's my pleasure.
A few minutes later, descending down the stairway in a very frivolous dress, very 18th century, wide, long brimmed dress. The ones that kind of they go out in a huge circle around the person. Walking down the stairway, you see a quite young-looking, even for an elven woman, step down the stairway in this very large blue dress with various feathers hanging off the wide-brimmed skirt of it. She steps down and walks over to the bar. I heard you wish to play here.
Yes, Mum. I would like to work out some sort of arrangement whereby I procure 2 rooms for my companions and myself. Also a breakfast meal to get us started with our day. To encourage you and your patrons to, libation and joviality and such. Is that something that you'd be willing to discuss with me?
Yes, what sort of music do you perform?
I have been working on my violin, which allows me for more somber, calm affair, but typically I am a lutist, and I have been known to run the gamut. I'm a fan of all music, really, so if you have a particular style you fancy, I could work it into the routine. Or if you would prefer, I only, attempt one style, that's fine. So it's really, it's your house, your rules, so whatever you like.
Well, we typically employ performers who perform rather classical pieces. The violin sounds lovely. Those sorts of, though you say samba, doesn't necessarily need to be a sad piece, but more quiet pieces that people can listen to while they speak, while they talk, while they have various meetings. Though as the night goes on, you're welcome to lean into something more jovial. But at least to start, something a bit quieter while everyone enjoys the food. If you don't mind, could you play a song for me, just so I can see how your music tastes?
I don't see why not. Would you like me on stage or right here?
On stage, please.
He goes up after a short nod.
Good luck,
Pulls
Karan.
out the violin and
Gambit gives him thumbs up. Yes, let's go.
After the song plays, that y'all haven't heard Durand play in this style before. Most of y'all wouldn't necessarily know the origins or anything except for John, who would recognize it as a piece that, I guess, Durand, what sort of piece do you play?
I mean, I would imagine that it's more of a shorter thing, so I would say probably like an etude. And since she's not wanting necessarily somber, I would probably keep it more of a like when you would go to or you would imagine or maybe have read or listened to like the beginnings of a ball. How it starts out very simple. There's not a whole lot of deviation. It's more just a welcoming sort of vibe.
All right, as you play this piece, that for the rest of you would perhaps get the feeling of course, dancing energy as it goes into the more extravagant parts after just even a minute of the more simple beginnings. As it passes through, he plays incredibly well, enough that you see the other patrons of the bar look over, and as you finish with this song, that... Where is it from? Is it from a particular country?
I mean, most likely, most of his music would be Elven, because...
Well, in that case, it would probably originate from Vale. Yeah, so something that would have been played in the courts of Vale, then. As John, as you would recognize it, and the patrons clap as you finish. stands up, a pleased look on her face. That was lovely. Yes, I think you performing here would be quite alright. How long will you be in town?
I'm not entirely certain. I believe it's about a week, but we basically escorted some merchants here, and then we will continue to do so as we make our way through this lovely country.
Merchants, as she looks over the others. Are you a performing crew or something more aggressive?
I can do magic.
Something more aggressive then, I suppose. Well, I prefer you keep the competitive affairs.
Not really
outside of-
aggressive, as in protective.
Still, I'd prefer combat stay out of my inn. But I would certainly enjoy your performance. To be entirely honest, with how well you did, I'd feel remiss just giving you the room and board. Would you mind if I paid you for the nights performed as well?
I would be entirely honored. That is a delightful prospect, and I am sincerely hoping to only do better.
It was lovely. Could we have you each night, or are there only certain nights you'll be able to perform?
Unless we are about the business of rescuing someone or saving the day or protecting the town or some such sort of thing, then no, you can count me as happily here to serve.
I see. Could I guarantee your performance for Friday? We're hosting a simple get-together for some of the folks of the town that I think it'd be nice to be able to tell them we have such a fine performer here.
I mean, he's this is new to him, so he's kind of confused and he doesn't know what to do, but he's not Thicket, so he's probably going to do this very poorly. But let's go for it.
Thicket gives him a thumbs up.
I don't see why not. I think that's within the range of how long we're going to be here, so seems reasonable enough.
Absolutely lovely. Well, how about we plan for 5 nights, or 5 gold for each other night you're able to perform, and then a full 15 for the Friday.
I look forward to it. That sounds delightful.
Then
And you
well
sure
then.
2 rooms and a breakfast is all right? You sure that's okay? I really don't, I don't want to cause any sort of, because they're not performers. Although I will say that the new fellow he might be able to assist me as he has some musical skill of a sort. So if there's an issue, I want to honor your generosity.
Of course, as she nods over to John, as long as the atmosphere can be maintained. But yes, the room and board should be just fine, not to worry. We are more of,
Well,
if I'm honest, a restaurant than an inn. A gathering space for the people of the town. So not to worry for the rooms, we'll be able to take care of that just fine for you.
All right.
Of course,
Then
the more
it
expensive
isn't-
items on the menu might not be free. Gerald knows the specifications of the menu, so he'll be able to get you what you need. And just ask him if you need anything else. He should be here most of the afternoons and evenings.
Oh, delightful, ma'am. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you. And again, what was your name, please?
Oh, Lady Grace and Lavania. Don't worry,
And
Micah
I'm
did actually
Veronica
have the
Starr.
name in his backpack.
I am Grand Evenstar, and this is the Messengers.
It's lovely to meet you. I look forward to your performance, hopefully tonight.
At
hours,
what time would you
or
like me
will
to
you-
start?
Oh, how about 7 o'clock?
Sounds delightful. It's enough time to get a bite and to stretch my legs, so to speak, so that I can perform properly.
Of
Thank
course,
you.
get gathered in.
Your dress is very pretty.
Why, thank you, my dear. I had it specially commissioned from a lady in town. I quite enjoy the thrills of it all. But if you don't mind, I do have a few pieces of business to handle before this evening.
I look forward to seeing you later.
She will give a light curtsy and then head out the front door.
Hey, Thicket, after we grab a bite to eat, you want to go scope out the library, and then maybe we can go shopping for something fancy for you for the party?
Yes. I want to get a new hat.
Yes.
New hat, Thicket. What?
Get a fancy hat
See
for formal occasions.
All right. So I guess that does that. Is Garan going to get settled in and practiced for the evening?
Oh yeah. And now he's like super nervous. He's like, oh no, this may go really bad.
There are expectations now.
I
mean, there are potential costs to rolling a 32. I mean, you've become, at least among some group of people in the town, have become a talking point. So, see?
For better or for worse.
Better or worse. John, are you going to be attempting to join Garand on this night, or will you be letting him have his performance? And
I
joining
think
him
I'll
later?
let him perform solo for tonight, and then I may join him on other nights.
All right. That leaves Doug. What is Doug doing during this time? Is he going with the investigation team or doing something else?
Gambit would extend the invitation to Doug too.
Can you hear us, Jack? Because if you've been talking... Okay, cool. I got worried for a second. It was one of those times where you've been talking the whole time and we didn't hear you.
No, Doug would take the offer.
To go
All right.
with the investigation team?
Yeah.
All right. Maverick and Claude will actually go and see if they can do any purchasing, as he's got some things he wants to buy. All the rest of y'all. So, investigation team. Where are you choosing to go? Oh, I guess... Yeah, John, are you going with the investigation team, or are
I'll
you...
go with them.
Okay, so most of the party, with the exception of Garand, as he prepares for his performance. Go.
Sorry to leave you in the lurch there, Garan, but we have full faith that you will pull this off.
Well, it'll be certainly fun to try. So we'll see how it goes. While are you going? Please, do me the favor. If you can find any sort of information about my dear friend and the foe that tried to approach me in the storm, I would love to learn as much as I can to prepare myself mentally for that as well.
The bird?
Yeah, well, that would be my patron, my friend, but the man, the
man.
rather like the giant like man.
Feminine
The
figure.
giant like man.
Was it a feminine figure? I thought it was a dude. My bad.
It was a feminine figure.
All right, my bad. I misspoke then. I'm sorry. Garan was said the
You're
right
good.
thing.
It was a while ago when we did it at this point.
Oh, dude.
Thicket's
Okay.
got like a notepad and pen to tell us all about it so we can figure out what to look for.
Yeah. Over dinner.
Just so that we don't miss anything.
Which things are you asking
we'll
them
be
to
here for a
research?
couple days, so you can come yourself.
That's
to the
true. I can
library.
go during the days if they don't have any luck tonight. That's fair.
Mhm.
What things were you asking them to look into? What if y'all may actually want to write this down? Because I'm not going to remember it for you.
Maury, can you write?
Yes.
I can, but
That
you'll
was a
get
long
after 9.
Sorry, I was switching channels in Discord so that I can write in the proper chat.
I mean, basically, Garan just wants to know if there's any like historical or arcaneological information about either of these beings.
Which beings?
The Storm Phoenix and the Storm Witch. We'll call her the Storm Witch. That's That seems
Okay.
appropriate.
It's been a while, so I'll mention what you would have remembered about the Storm Witch. It was a feminine figure with wild hair. You couldn't make out much of their form, but you got an intense feeling of evil from them. Like extremely menacing vibes. Though their details were sparse at best.
Did not pass the vibe check.
They did not. Well, I mean, I guess they didn't pass the vibe check. They went into the negatives.
Created their own category.
Right. So what are y'all doing? The investigation party.
I guess we'll just go and see if the library's open. And like what type of like security is in the library.
Where's the library?
Find the library.
How are you going to do
To
that?
the
Are you wandering around?
library!
Where's the library?
Around.
Gambit's powers of persuasion. Hey you, random person on the street.
Huh?
Do
Oh,
you know where the library is?
Donde
yeah.
está la biblioteca?
Is that Elvish? I don't know Elvish, the dwarf says down the thicket. I don't... Whatever. Irrelevant. The library, well, if you take down this road over toward the eastern side of the city, he points over, actually, you see that big tower? It's connected to the building. Go there, you can't miss it.
Thank you, good sir.
Yeah. So you will look at your group with a little bit of confusion and continue.
All right, to the tower.
As you would see, Thicket, he does a couple double takes as he looks back at the group, watches y'all go for a second before continuing. Right?
It just waves.
He will hesitantly wave back.
Gambit is thankful that we have a talking cat in the party because that takes away from him.
It also tends to confuse people.
Yep.
They know
but
enough about
everyone's
the
looking at
world to
cat
not act.
and-
Yeah, they know enough to be like, that's a talking cat. I mean, I guess I've seen weird things, but talking cat?
Yeah.
Enough to be weird, but not enough to ask a question. For the most part. And you'll get a couple inquisitive people here and there that do. Y'all go, and as you approach, you see there's actually a rather well-designed little opening to the town. A significant portion of this city seems to be residential. Over near the water, there is a mixture of what seems to be an almost tourism thing. You even see a sign for a ferry, like a show ferry to go up and down the river. And not like a travel one, but a dinner light type ferry type thing. You see there is a large fishing group in the river as well. Connecting off to the eastern, north, and south sides of the city, there is quite a bit of livestock, individual keeping, a lot of course, local business type things. You do spot there is a single office for the Darvishi couriers over near the southern side of the city where the opening was. Y'all would have seen that coming in. And as y'all head to the east, y'all see what amounts to the market area. Passing through the center of the city, there are a few different, not quite parks, but small grassy areas that are pretty sparse at this point of the day. But there are different stands set up around the area that, though some of them are packing up for end of day, this seems to be where the market hub is. Near that, going just a couple of blocks, you get to a fairly large open area, an open courtyard that leads up to this large building that has on the front right, or I guess from the walking to it point of view, to the left, is a large tower that reaches... Oh, it's hard to tell. It's hard to think in my head how tall things are. 200 yards into the air, above the wall of this 3-story building. It is quite large, sizably wide, takes up a full city block on its own. 3 stories high all around, and you see it's a quite large open library that has these steps up to the front. There are various trees planted around it. Uh, yeah, that would be what you see for the most part from where you are standing. This imposing building in terms of size.
Where is the entrance?
There is steps up to a set of doors in the front that at current are closed.
Oh, looks like
It-
we missed it. Does there look like there's somebody important that would know stuff about the library around?
Make an insight check.
Beep 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 beep. Grab it.
Is there
Thank
like
you.
a sign anywhere that says the hours
Yeah.
of the library?
Make an investigation check.
Oh,
Yeah, but you don't spot anyone that you can tell. I mean, everyone kind of looks like people, fancy or otherwise. I'm thinking, I mean, you don't see a sign. You're looking around, but there's nothing sticking out
Are
to
there
you.
lights on inside?
There are a few of the different windows across the building. You do see lights on the inside.
I want to go try the door handle.
The door opens.
oh, you
Stepping
meant
in.
it was
Good.
shut, not
The
that
door
the
was
building
shut.
was closed.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
I
doors were closed.
understand.
Um,
Okay.
stepping
They have
in.
doors for a reason.
Yeah.
The immediate entrance is a fairly large foyer that has a small set of fence and bars. Not really the right word. You know, like those like waist high, like handrail walls that you see in different places. It's like those that kind of surrounds this front entrance area. You see two desks, one off to each side, that have various lamps on them. Um, Currently, only one of them is being occupied. There is a young man. He appears to be human. He wears glasses. He has this fairly long, shaggy brown hair and is dressed fairly well. Writing something on his desk. He's got a stack of papers off to his right and a couple of books off to his left that he seems to be referencing. He looks up to you as you enter in. You see this front little foyer area that seems to be probably 15-foot radius. No, I'm sorry, not 15-foot radius. 15-foot diameter, 7-foot radius inside from the door. You can see over the railing. The railing that seems to almost fence in the outside has a set of these swinging not quite doors, but these smaller shifting boards to kind of have a slow point or an intended moving point to go through them. That enters into the rest of this first room. This first room opens up into a fairly large library. There are various shelves. There are quite a few tables that are directly in front of you that lead back about 150 feet. No, that's not right. 300 feet, my bad. And go up. You can see there's a second floor that it goes up to before you reach the ceiling. There are some staircases off to the left and right that lead up to them. You can't tell from here directly how wide the area is. Can't immediately see the walls left and right, as there are bookcases that seem to cover them, or at least block your view. And it's hard to see how you would get to the rest of the building necessarily. You might go forward, left, right. It's hard to tell. You can't see the direct pathways from here. But you do seem to have entered a library.
Are we looking for something specific in here?
Yes, we haven't.
Oh, as the boy
List.
boy looks up. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I help you?
Hi. We are here to check out your library services. We have lots of information we're looking for.
All right. Do you need help finding that? And as he places a small paper holder on top of the paper he was writing on, keeping it down, as there is you didn't notice it until he did that. There is a just barely minor draft and it seems to be flowing around. Can't quite tell where it's coming from or where it's going to. Currently, it feels like it's going from your left to your right, but you don't see a way. Like you don't see a pathway or an open door or anything.
This place has air conditioning.
Yeah, is it something you'll need help with, or just would
Are
like to
looking
peruse?
for books on magical beasts that are magical beings that have to do with the sky and wind, and like anything related to Grimm and anything
Also-
related to magic swords.
Also, ancient relics of Aether.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like you'll be looking for the etymology and theology sections. As he points up to the left, to his left, you are right. The 3 shelves on this side of the room take up most of the etymology. If you would like to go for the theology, as he then turns back, like kind of backwards in his seat, and points off to the back left of the room where you can see. Pretty much that entire back corner on the first floor is all the theology books, or at least all the ones open to the public. I mean, it sounded like you had quite a few things, so I guess I can't get any more specific than that.
Are there
I can
Alright.
books
do-
not
good.
open to the public?
Yes, there are Her Lady's private studies, as well as certain restricted sections that. Oh, y'all aren't from here, I guess. If you're asking, if you're asking the question, of course you aren't. As he rubs his temple. Yeah, there's some restricted sections that only the lady and those she allows can go in. Or Lord, sorry, still getting used to
How
Lord. Though she
Could
likes to be called
we-
lady. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
If
how
we,
could
if you can go first.
how could we get a audience with the lady?
Well, we can set an appointment for you. Is it a pressing matter?
We're gonna be here for a week.
Yeah. So if you can get it within the week, that would be great.
All right. I need one of you to roll a d20 for luck.
But can I use inspiration?
Oh, you're a d20.
Ah.
This is a chance thing.
Yeah.
We'll
Roll
let
in our
you roll that.
favor. I
Uh,
should have. I'm sorry.
Let's see. As he opens one of the books to his left, that seems to be a scheduling book. Flips a couple of pages. She should be able to see you Tuesday afternoon. What name shall I put down?
What day is it right now?
It is Saturday.
Okay, that's not that bad.
Okay. The
The-
messengers.
yeah.
The messengers. He writes it down. Is there anything in particular I should let her know about your meeting?
We probably would want to ask about some of the restricted books. I don't know if we'll be able to find everything that we're looking
Mhm.
for just with like the general public stuff.
Yeah.
All right. It's not an uncommon request, though I cannot promise you it'll be granted. She hasn't even let me back there yet. There we go. He finishes writing
Are
it down.
you
Is there a particular name or
intern?
just...
Are you an intern?
Well, I guess you call it that. I'm one of her newer apprentices.
Ooh.
But yeah, is there a particular name or just the messengers as a group? I'd like to have at least one person on file in case we need to look y'all up later. And where can we find you if something happens?
We're at the
Dancing Goose.
The
dance.
duck
Oh, fancy.
Goose Inn.
Yeah. And at least one of your actual names.
My name's Thicket.
Thicket, Are you a familiar?
No, I am a cat.
Mm,
Huh. All right. Wait. Could you do something for me?
Hmm.
I need you. Here, follow me. As he will.
Ooh, exciting! I'm so excited.
The rest of the group can follow, but he quickly heads over to the outer part of into the library. He takes a brisk left after a few feet, leading all through some of the shelves over to what seems to be an entrance to some sort of hallway off to the left side of the building, or at least the left side of this room, seemingly leading to a different part in the building, over toward the tower. Could you just, as he opens the door, just walk through this doorway for me?
Why?
I just want to test something. I think I'm.
Insight check.
Well, I could be right.
What-
I could be wrong.
What does
wanna
the
see
door
something.
do?
The door doesn't do anything. Mostly, it shouldn't do anything to you.
Insight
Roll
check.
insight, Gambit.
Yeah, I want to as well.
They mostly come out at night. Mostly.
I can't.
Thicket. He looks very curious and mildly concerned.
Hold on. It's not letting me grab the dice for some reason.
That's not good.
Grab it. You have
Double
the little
click.
grabby hand. Oh, there we go.
Why do you want me to walk through the door?
Well, I mean, I guess I can explain. The door is built to block out certain types of creatures, demons, devils, fae, elementals, that sort of thing. And so, I just want to see if you can. Honestly, are you a
Oh.
fae? Are you a fae?
No.
Is that a thing? No.
I can. Thicket will walk through now.
As you walk into the door, stop like you've hit a wall. Oh. How about tomorrow for that meeting? I think she'd like to see you.
Okay.
Don't worry, as he leans down. You don't seem dangerous. I just find it terribly interesting. As you don't... As he shifts his glasses, you see a slight blue glow in his eyes. That you would recognize with the amount of times you've cast it, seems to be detect magic. Interesting, you're not giving off... Huh. I mean, you're not... You don't look like a fae. Not giving off energies of a fae, but... Circle doesn't... Yeah, if y'all want to come tomorrow, or we can still do Tuesday. Whichever you want.
What time tomorrow?
How's 11 a.m.?
Okay.
Sure.
Awesome.
Thicket
Well.
pokes the wall / door.
Yep, it feels solid.
Can Gambit walk through? Just to see.
You step over and step through the doorway just fine.
Gambit kind of sticks his tongue out at Thicket.
Oh.
I'm scared.
It's
That's rough.
okay. It's okay,
That's
buddy.
rough, buddy.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry. I think it just means that you have special abilities, but understand maybe if you just want to be normal. But
Well,
I
I
think
can
you're
do
really cool.
magic.
Yes, and that makes you so special. You're the only cat in the whole world, probably, that's like you. And
Probably. A little add on. Probably.
I mean, if it helps, I've never
And-
seen anything like you before.
yeah. So I understand the unknown can be frightening, but it's okay. We're gonna figure it out. We're here. Maverick's here. We got a new friend. And Grant's here. So don't worry about it. We'll just get more information and then it won't be unknown anymore.
Okay.
But your magic is very great, Thicket.
Cool. With that set up, and I'll edit the page in the scheduling. You're welcome to peruse the section as long as you'd like. We close at 8 o'clock. So you've got around an hour and a half, a bit over that. But if it's all right with you, unless you need specific help, I'd like to go finish the paper I was working.
You're right on it.
Thank you very much. As he gives a nod to you all before heading off back toward the front. So are you all perusing the shelves, heading back? What are you choosing to do?
Gambit's gonna start with Grim lore.
Grim. Okay. Are you looking for anything in particular?
Yeah, so I guess we're pretty good on like the origins, as in they like they're probably from ether, right? Or aether.
No.
No, never mind. Let's start with the origins.
Cool. Make an investigation check to see how long it takes you to find what you want and get to where you are. Are the rest of you looking at anything in particular at the same time?
Thicket will shake himself out and then go all in on looking into the ancient relics of Aether.
Well, I don't think it's ever had this much anxiety before in his life.
Nope.
Existential dread. Investigation, you said?
Yes.
So much
Same from you,
investigation.
Thicket, for the night. Given the amount of time you'll have, it will be higher DCs, given that you'll have less time to look through things. But you may be able to still find things. Alright, so as you spend the time, Thicket, you don't find particularly what you're looking for. You find, excuse me. You find some different stories. You find yourself looking more at almost fairy tale-like different stories about different items. You do find one small book that is about the religious implements used by various churches, different things that can be used for holy symbols, a documentation of various holy symbol styles and icons that have been created for Aether. I need to blow my nose. Sorry. Keep fighting that. Just need to actually do it. There we go.
You're welcome,
helps.
YouTube. You're welcome,
Yep.
Twitch. You're welcome.
I should have gone
everything.
mute on that, but I didn't. It's too late now.
You can't take it back now.
No, I can't. It's in the recording. Anywho, unfortunately, you don't find anything of note that you would particularly look for, Thicket, unless you want slightly more detail about the things I just told you. Gambit. You don't find anything groundbreaking, but you do find things that would be part of the world and be the kind of things that an individual may or may not know. You find something about the theoretical origins, an actual thick book specifically about the theoretical origins of Grimm. No one knows for sure at which point they were created. A lot of theories state that they've been in the world as long as humans and elves have. They are believed to be, based on the different studies people have done, to be demonic in nature, similar to demons but of a different type, to the point that they are genetically different enough that they don't come from the abyss like demons are said to. An entirely different species from devils. They are fiends, that's for sure. It is theorized that they are created by Aeon, effectively the evil god that the world is aware of. As there's Aether and Erebus that are the yin and yang of life and peaceful natural death, of passing, of creation and destruction, rebirth. That's what them two are. There is the god of nature and the natural world, being Sylvanas, and then there is Aeon. Aeon, from what people understand and believe, is entirely based on destruction. He, as far as scholars know, and from stories of mythology of him fighting with the other gods, has been effectively trying to destroy the world with nothing to take its place since time. Whereas Erebus deals with destruction and then recreation with his brother Aether as it passes back and forth in the yin yang type flow. Aeon just wants it to end. It just stop, no more, destroy, no sentient life. That's the best that people have figured out from him. And so it's thought that Grimm were created by him because Grimm seem to be singularly purposed on killing sentient creatures and destroying what they make.
So Eon is described as a male figure. Is there any description as a him appearing in a womanly form, trying to tie it back to what Garan was saying. Like, if he detected pure evil from the woman figure, then maybe it has to do something with Eon because they're both evil.
Unfortunately, no. Looking through the different theology, as Thicket had found actually earlier in the series, around like session 13, maybe. Most of the gods, with except for very, very rare occasions, all appear in masculine forms.
Okay.
Sylvanas, Aether, Erebus, and Aeon. And no, that's not me. That's part of the way Rooster Teeth did it. So I don't take blame on that. If anyone has a problem with it, not my job.
Okay, so if Gambit has any time left after that, which probably won't have much, then he'll look up a list of evil magic, evil beings, powerful beings, and look for a description of make a list of all the feminine.
That is a very
Described
large
ones.
list of things to go through.
Great.
It wouldn't be something
Thicket.
you could do on that night, but it is
Okay.
something that over the course of a few days you could note down. But that's a
Okay.
evil, feminine-looking creatures is a very large category.
Gambit's gonna look at it all and then shut the door, the book, and be like, nope, we're gonna let Garan handle this one.
If there's any time left after Thicket's initial research, he's gonna start looking for stuff about the Storm Phoenix.
All right, it is worth noting what time do y'all want to get back to watch Garand, or are y'all not going to watch Garand? It's up to y'all.
Garan was around 7.
Yep.
Maybe we could try to aim to be back around 8:45 and get the tail end if he performs for an hour.
All right, so assuming he performs for a bit throughout the night, as it seemed to be the case, especially because he's not a singer, so he can perform for longer, taking a few breaks here and there. Singing tends to be more demanding in terms of being able to run down than fingers from violin and such, in my personal experience.
Speak for yourself.
I do speak for myself, and maybe I'm wrong.
Have you ever tried to play a whole Mozart's opera? No.
That's fair. I'm a pianist, not a violinist. That's your area. So I don't know. Assuming he takes breaks, it sounded like he was going to play a while. And based on his previous times playing throughout this campaign, he'll probably play for a few hours. Note to self, if ever we have questions about violin stuff, ask Jocelyn. What is it doing? Yes, yeah, with that time, are you going to just look through stuff for Storm Phoenix things in monster books, Thicket?
I guess so.
Alright, then in that time, you wouldn't be able to find anything in particular. There are quite a few books about different types of monsters, but you don't immediately land on a Storm Phoenix.
Cool. Is that all the time that we have?
That would be all the time for you two. Is there anything John and Doug would like to look for while you're in the library?
I want to check out a book on magical history.
Ooh. Make an investigation check.
Where's that thing? There it is.
So, you've got 3 real options. There is general magical history over the past 1,000 years or so. There is specific magical history about pre-schism, and specific magical history about post-schism.
Post-schism.
Alright, looking at magic post-schism, you would find... is there anything in particular you're looking for? Just general information about how magic has grown over the time.
Just general information. Some light reading.
Light reading, some general information. You would find that more and more material requirements have been required for spells that previously didn't have them. A lot of new spells have been made over the past 450 years or so since the schism. Quite a few spells have been made. You get a few different references to a few different people that you don't know of. You would see a couple about... Well, that's actually fun. You would see one about a spell made by a Lady Hellion. Or just Hellion. Hellion's something something, as I haven't actually made that spell yet, but I intend to make spells that have people's names. Let's see, you would have details about those. Yeah, those would be the main things, is that quite a lot of spells have been made over the last few hundred years. Almost... it actually would mention that it seems to be almost necessary to make new spells. You see one reference that references another book, a pre-schism book, particularly mentioning, just as a due to the necessary requirement for new spells. And then the footnote, see this book. Yeah, but that'd be the main thing is a lot of new spells have been made. Material requirements have increased. Yeah, for post-schism, that's pretty much all you'd find. Anything you're looking for, Doug?
Are you muted and you don't know it?
Are you muted and you don't know it? Clap your hands.
Are you muted and you do know it? Clap your hands. Well,
Is he AFK?
He might be. It's possible he had to step away, so we'll continue. We'll say it gets around to about 8:45, and y'all are heading back. Garand, I need a performance check.
All right.
For your first
Was the preparation able to give me any pluses or advantage or anything to assist, since I was putting extra time and effort in and doing nothing else? Blah blah. No, that's fine. Askins.
You need prep? You have a plus 13 on performance.
Well, I had plus 11. I actually spent a thing last time.
Oh.
I wanted to. I thought it was earning a spot. I didn't realize I was also prepping my my own possible demise.
Yeah, you didn't realize you were going to be quite that good. The fact that she was like, "Dang, this is so good. I need to pay this guy." I feel bad not paying him.
All right. Well, then
I'll say you can have an extra D4 for the extra time spent.
Nice. Nice.
Part of me's like, should I give him a -1 for the anxiety? But no, it's just fine. Take the. It's fine.
Hey, even better than
Whoa.
Anxiety, if you are good at what you're doing, then anxiety actually helps aid performance.
Cool, then I guess anxiety's part of the D4. Let's see. I need to check a thing. Do that roll. Y'all get in. The place is not quite packed, but everyone is captivated. You'd see a lot of... It does appear to be fairly nice, nicer dressed people. This is a fairly higher end clientele. You see a couple of... there's actually one or two merchants that y'all had traveled with that are sitting in the audience, quote unquote, sitting around at the different tables. A lot of people have finished their food and are just watching or listening to Garand. There are a couple of conversations, but he seems to be quite captivating. Quite a few tables, as he plays incredibly well. The amount he's played today, both now and earlier, some of the best he's played in the entire time you've known. To an impressive degree. And let me see, over the course of the night, there would be 8 gold pieces on top of the 5.
All right, 13.
15 silver pieces.
Okay.
And 31 copper pieces. Over the course of the evening, as people seem to be quite enjoying the music. It's a relatively light day. Actually, wait, no, it's a Saturday. I need to roll an additional thing. Add 18 more silver pieces.
Right,
I
so-
forgot, it's a Saturday.
so
It's a night when there'll be more people, not less.
13, 33, 31. Got it.
Yep. As you make quite a bit for a single night of performance. And as you end your performance, around when? When will you end?
Probably like 9:30, since it's like more of like a more upper echelon type thing. I imagine that also the start of the week being tomorrow, because we got in on Sunday, if I remember correctly. People may need to be winding down and get ready for bed and so forth, and start their week. So
You get quite a few claps. Pretty much the entire room. A couple of people even stand up as an ovation. And then over the next following 10-15 minutes, most people leave. Make an insight check. Thicket or whoever else wants to.
Whoa.
Yeah, so even with your lower social skill or social history, Thicket, you can quite easily tell. Gambit, you have no idea. But Thicket, you can tell quite easily that a lot of these people weren't. They weren't. To say it, this is a bad way to say it. They were not waiting for him to finish, but you could tell quite a few of them had no intention to leave before he was done. They were
They stayed
going to.
specifically for Duran.
They stayed specifically for his music.
Something tells me that somebody spread the word before he played. Or that he was playing.
All right. And after the 9:30, quite a few of the people, you are correct, do go home. It doesn't seem to be a stay late and drink type of inn. It is a
Right.
lovely dinner show sort of
Right.
place. Before the party, is there anything y'all want to do for the night? Y'all going to gather together and head on, or are y'all going to do things?
That was
Grant!
incredible, Grant.
Dude,
Grant!
you were holding back in Delta.
There was a door! Grant! There was a door, and I couldn't go through the door, but Gambit could go through the door, and I don't know why.
Yeah. So this is what happened. We talking to
I'm
Thicket
waiting.
and
Just
realized
go.
that Thicket was a cat.
You cut
And
out for a second. You cut out for a second. You said,
what?
"This is what happened," and then there were like 3 seconds of
Okay.
silence.
Okay, sorry. My internet's really bad today.
It's okay.
So there's a door, and the intern, when they noticed Thicket was not your usual creature, asked Thicket to walk through the door, and the door would not let Fae, Fiend, or Undead walk through it, and Thicket could not walk through it, meaning that, well, we're sure that Thicket is not undead, probably, and most likely not a fiend.
And she's going again.
Most likely not a fiend, and Dyson.
We have an appointment with the lady tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Most likely not a fiend, and then what? You cut out again.
And it was going to be on like Tuesday, but once he noticed Thicket, it got fast tracked to tomorrow.
We have an appointment with the Lord Librarian, and I guess she wants to take a look at me.
Right. Well, Thicket, I'm sorry I wasn't there to figure out what the sort of situation was, but it will be resolved, and you can trust that whatever your origin, all that matters is who you are now. So don't let it discourage you. Don't let it tear you down. All right. You have friends. You have family. You try not to let it get at you. All right. And Gambit, thank you for your compliments. Maybe it's the environment, but I have to be honest. It felt so natural, both early in the afternoon with my audition and this evening. So who knows to say what tomorrow will bring? But at the very least, we'll do all that we can, and I will hopefully prepare us for the future so that we have some extra coin to take care of any needs that we might have. Especially as we hope to procure proper blacksmithing opportunities for Doug. But,
And also some formal attire, it sounds like.
oh right, yeah, for the whole celebration thing. I suppose that's a good idea as well. But no, don't fret. All right, we will solve this issue, whatever it is.
Okay.
I don't.
As the party finishes up, it seems like that's all y'all wanted to do for that evening. So the party finishes up going and getting your 2 rooms, which are fairly nice. They each have a couple of beds in them. Fairly nice. There is a washroom on the floor. Like for each floor, there is a washroom. As you all get comfort, find yourself a good rest after the excitement of the day, the concern in Thicket, as it takes him a few minutes to fall asleep. Garand feeling still a bit of the energy of the performance going through him, having a hard time himself falling asleep, though for a different reason. We pull out, Amber pulls out from the window where everyone's getting rest. Passing over the town, lights spread out. We focus in on the tower. The light coming in close toward the window, or the camera coming in close toward the window, seeing a fairly gentle firelight on the inside, and one of the top floors. Going in to see a very sizable room. Fireplace burning gently in the corner. The room feeling almost comfortable in the view we have. And sitting on a red couch near the windowsill, looking out into the nearly full moon, reading in the firelight this fairly large-looking book, larger than they are. We close out as we see a figure. We can't tell out much from them, but we see a very large witch's hat, the brim of which seems to be surrounded with flowers. I think that's where we're going to end the session for the night.
Yay!
Yay! I was not expecting Thicket lore like that to happen.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Neither was I.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was coming, but...
How exciting. I'm excited.
I have my own personal theories about what that means.
Would you
but
like
I
to
think
share?
I'm gonna wait
Okay.
for next week.
All right.
Oh, this is a good session.
Because literally all I know is what I've told Micah. And I don't know how far he's ran with some of it.
Very
Yeah.
far.
Hmm.
Pretty sure I've written more paragraphs about your backstory than you have.
I have 0 paragraphs about my background.
Well, then I definitely have.
More
Y'all
has given
managed to-
0 paragraphs.
With every roll you made, y'all managed to completely dodge any random encounters. I had a couple prepped. Y'all could have done stuff on the road, but then it just didn't happen.
Yeah. We rolled really, really well this session, which means that next session is probably going to be rough.
And every really
Comparatively.
low roll y'all didn't matter.
Matter.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, they matter a little bit. It's Thicket finding stuff tonight versus getting. I continue.
Some bad rolls low lately. I feel like tonight actually is like it coming back around.
Yeah.
Y'all roll really well. I think the lowest survival roll you had was a 16, which, to be fair, you've got like a plus 11.
I have a +8,
Never mind. I mean, still quite well, but
but it was all with advantage.
that's true.
Oh, that helps.
It does help a lot.
Yeah.
Your lowest rolls have
The
to
one
be-
time that Thicket doesn't roll low on something and it's survival.
We learned
Mhm.
that Gambit is even more blind to social cues than
Oh,
Thicket
yeah.
is.
Yeah. I didn't plan it to be this way, but like did not realize that Thicket was over there having an existential crisis. And then he turns us around, sticks his tongue out, and he's like, wait a second, no, my friend
Oh,
is
no.
actually having an emotional come apart. So he had to walk it back.
I also think, I might as well note this on the recording. I thought it's a very sweet character thing and growth that we have gone from Thicket restraining Garand because he doesn't trust him to going to Garand for comfort.
Yeah. So sweet.
I know. That
Yeah.
was dope. That was so awesome. I was like, oh man.
Like, I know you didn't
And
say
Garand's
it,
just
but
like, all right. I really, really, really want to try to honor him right now. I want to be super gentle. I want to be extra considerate. Like, let me be the big brother. Let's do this.
Mhm.
Thicket doesn't trust easily, but when he does, boy.
Mhm.
it goes hard.
That was mega fun session.
Mhm.
I
was a
took
great
notes
time.
this time so I don't forget the next time I
Hey.
have to recap.
At least someone's finally taking notes besides me.
My memory is not that great, so you know.
That's fair.
My
take
memory
notes
is not great
sometimes.
either. But joke's on you, I can't write.
You said you take notes sometimes, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, oh, does this seem extra important to Garand or to, like Garand's closest friends? Which, as far as Garand's concerned, is because he has a hard time understanding where Doug's coming from. It's pretty much just Gambit and Thicket.
And well, I guess I now have kind of guaranteed and now have to go out of my way to. I mean, I was going to make some custom spells and put them as officially part of this campaign anyway, but I guess I've got to name at least one after Sasha. So now I've referenced it.
Oh no. Okay, that's fine.
And I think we're gonna go ahead and end the recording. I don't know how long people are gonna hang out afterward with the stream and talk about and enjoy ourselves. But I want to go ahead and end the recording here. Thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Bye, YouTube.
Bye.
Bye. I have made a grave error.